Hello and welcome back to 100 Days of Code with Here. My name is Shruti, and we at Here Technologies are doing a 100 Days of Code challenge wherein we've been posting tasks every day since the 1st of April, and we'll be doing this for 100 days. We're posting the tasks on our Twitter handle at HereDev. So you'll find the task there, and then we also give you solutions every day as a mini video, and then every 5 days we come up with a video as well as a tutorial which gives you solutions for the last 5 days. If you have missed the first 15 days, so I can't believe we are already on day 15. So if you've missed the first 15 days of tasks and solutions, you can find the links in the description below. You'll find the older videos as well as older blog posts as well as a link to our Twitter handle at HereDev in the description. You can go there and follow the first 15 days and come back when you are caught up with the 15 days. So this video in particular is the solutions video for day 11 through day 15. So let's begin. Let's get started with day 11 already. So day 11 was until the day 10, what we did was we got a nice map, we got location through the browser, we changed the marker, etc. And day 10 was about clicking anywhere on the map and getting your location in the form of a latitude and longitude. So day 11 is basically building on top of that. And day 11 says that we need to place a marker on wherever we click and then also add some data to that marker. So you already probably know how to get a marker and change the marker icon. And this time it's going to be an image file. So any PNG, JPG, JPEG format is fine. And if you go to the map object section, the marker object section, you'll see that the last time we made a SVG marker icon, and then this time we'll just add a static image as the marker. Now, what is important here is that we need to add the data to this marker. So marker objects and map objects have the property of having data to it. So we'll be adding that data to the marker. So let's go to our ID. What I'm going to do, I'm going to make this a function first. So that, yeah, just to make things cleaner. So I'm going to call this click to mark, and what is this? Yeah. And within the click to mark, so I've already taken the position. I just need to add a marker to it. So again, I'm just going to make this marker position. So let's call it, what do we call it here? Let's call it new target position or pointer position. So let pointer is this, and then let pointer position equals, and we're just going to take this part out. So this was already giving us the position in the latitude and longitude format, if you see here. So we don't need to change the format as such. So we have the pointer position in the geometry format, map geometry format. And then I'm going to add a position icon. So before that, I need to create an icon of and get an image as the icon. So I already have this robot sort of image which I created. You can get any static image which you can use. So if you're going to search it in your browser, make sure you use the one which is allowed, in the sense does not have any copyright issues or anything as such. I've created this one, so it's not an issue. And so I'm going to call it image icon. And so this image icon itself is of the type new h. So it's the same you would do for the SVG icon. So it's of the type icon, and then I'm just going to pass its path to it. So right now it is in my folder. As you can see, it is in within my folder where my code lies, and it's called robot.png. So that's it. And then I'm going to use that one here. So let pointer marker, yeah, equals new h dot map dot marker. And then, as you can remember, you pass in the position first. So you have the position here, and then I pass in the icon. And the icon name is, where is the icon? So yeah, so it's called the image icon. And I need to add this to the map. So map add object, and this is pointer marker. So if I refresh this, I should get, okay, let's see. Oh, we haven't called this function yet. So let's call this function here. Yeah, there you go. So you should have these markers everywhere I click. And then the next part of day 11 was also to add data. So again, as I said, markers are objects of the map which also have the property of data. So I'm going to add the property of set data, and I need to write I'm here. So you can write anything you want basically, but this is just to show that you can add data to the marker. And that's it for day 11. Let's go ahead with day 12 of 100 days of code. So in day 11, we saw that markers have a property. So you can find all the other properties of markers if you go to API reference, go to h.maps, because they are the objects of a map. And then in that, you have all these map objects. In that, you have marker. And as marker options, if you scroll all the way down, you have data icon that we've been using to change the icon of the map. And then you have more other properties of markers, which we'll be probably using in the next few days. So what we've done is basically set the data. And now in day 12, what we want to do is visualize the data every marker has when you tap on the marker. So um, while so normally you would also be able to do it in another division on the map or even in the console. But what we're trying to do here is also use more options that the Here Maps SDK provides. So one of them is the Map UI. So if you go to the UI section, you'll see that there's an easy way to display info bubbles. And I'm going to use the info bubbles to display the marker data. So again, info bubbles have position, which is the position of the map, of the marker, sorry, and content, which you can manually enter. But this time we're going to use the marker data as the content. So let's go ahead with adding the marker data. So again, what I'm going to do is I want to tap on the marker and then display the bubble. So I will be adding here, I'll be adding to see if the tapped location is already a marker or not. So this is if event dot target is an instant of h dot map dot marker. If it's already a marker, I want it to display whatever it has, whatever data it has, or else I want it to have a new marker. So I will put the rest in else. And yeah, there you go. So I want this in if my marker or tapped place is already a bubble. Again, I will go here. I will create a bubble variable. I will just probably copy this. It's faster. Here you go. Alas, it's not always really faster. The formatting issues are quite a pain. So there you go. So if my tapped position is already a marker, I want to add an info bubble there, and in the position I want the position of the tapped marker. So we already know that at this point we already know that event.target is already of the type marker. So I'm going to take event.target, and then I'm going to use the property get geometry. So when you do get geometry, you get the position in the form of latitude and longitude if it's a known geometry. So you have get geometry. This will give you the position for the info bubble. And then in the content, instead of the hello world template, I'm going to add the data of the marker. So I'm going to use get data. And once I have this, I'm just going to add it as the UI on the info bubble. So let's check. So if you check this, again, I'm going to make some. Yeah, there you go. So if I have a marker, if I point or if I tap on a surface where there's no marker, it creates a new marker. And then if I tap on an existing marker, it gives you an info bubble with the data that we had set in day 2. So that's it for day 12 of 100 days of code. So day 13 of 100 days of code, this is a slightly bigger one. This is dragging the marker, and basically what I want to do here is now I can tap the marker, I can see the info bubble on it, but I want to move my marker, right? And so dragging the marker essentially is another event. If you've already seen that tapping, dragging comes under map events, and you already have these pointer up, tap, drag. And if you can see the dragging events, you can see that there are 3 distinct events, which is a drag start, drag, and then drag end, which means that you will have to write a listener for all 3 events, because what we are eventually going to do is when you start dragging, you need to calculate the position from where it started to the ending position. And also when you start dragging, you need to also stop the default movement of the map, because if I drag this right now, it is just panning the map, because even if I tap on the marker and drag it, it's still panning the map, because the default behavior of this is that if I drag, it means pan the map. So when I want to specifically drag the marker, I need to first stop the default behavior, then start calculating the start of drag and the end of drag, so the difference between the starting and ending positions. And then I need to place the marker, or do whatever you want to do after the drag ends. And then once the dragging is over, I need to resume the default behavior of the map, because I still want to be able to pan the map at the end of dragging my marker, which is the object on top of the map. So we'll have to write 3 different event listeners. So if you saw in the last code, we added 1 event listener for the tapping function. Similarly, we'll have to add 3 for the dragging function. So to make things easier, also going to give you a hint that if you check our GitHub repository, So the GitHub repository is called here maps. So github.com/here maps. And if you browse through all the different examples that we have there for you, we also have JavaScript examples. So if you just type JavaScript, you should get Maps API for JavaScript examples. In that, there's the Maps API, interactive Maps API, which is a lot of endpoints have been used within this example. So if you want to take a quick look, you can just go to the dragging markers dragging example. Let's see where it is. So you have markers clustering. Let's just, so yeah, there is a draggable marker example. Where is this? Yeah, perfect. So if you check this example right here, um, I'm going to just copy the whole code for you because it's simpler, it's faster, and we don't have a lot of time for these videos. I'm trying to make them as short as possible. So also you need to remember that before we are able to drag a marker, we need to see if the marker itself is draggable or not. And in the map properties, the marker properties that we saw that there was a property called uh, volatility. So if you go to h.map and again marker, and you can see that there was a property called volatile, which means if it's volatile or not, it can move if it's volatile. So again, we need to make the marker volatile. So here I'm going to make the marker volatile. So I am going to set the property next to the image icon. Let's see. And I'm going to set this to true so that my marker is volatile. And then I'm also going to make it draggable. So I want to make this draggable. So once I have the marker draggable, I'm going to copy those three event listeners for dragging in. So let's put them in a function neatly. Let's call it click to, so click drag markers. Doesn't matter whatever name you use. This is just for me to understand. So you have click drag markers, and in that I'm going to copy the code that we got from the GitHub repositories for JavaScript APIs, map APIs. So again, function draggable marker. You have the marker, which we already do. I'm just going to copy the event listeners for drag start, drag end, and then drag itself. So there you go. Again, so as you can see, the drag start first disables the default behavior of the map, the panning behavior essentially. Then it calculates the offset. The offset is basically the difference between the older and new position of the target position of the marker. So this is basically doing the math where it is just calculating the position. Then at the during the drag, then what I want to do is after the drag is over, or once the drag is done, I want to place the marker. So set the geometry of the marker in the new position. And then when the drag ends, like when I'm done with dragging, I want to re-enable the behavior, the default behavior of the map. So that's what these three listeners do. And then now if you go to our application, you'll see that, okay, I have this marker, it gives this, and then I can drag it. And that's it. That's it for day 13 of 100 days of code. So because day 13 was a little more coding than usual that we've been doing, day 14 is comparatively a simple one. Day 14 and 15 basically is drawing a circle and then customizing the circle. So I'm going to get started with day 14, which is to draw a circle of radius 10 kilometers. And then the center of the circle should be the new position of the dragged marker. So this is just to add a little twist to it. So, which means that if you remember, the new position of the marker was set in the event listener for drag, and then we ended the drag end. So basically, we ended the dragging in the drag end listener, right? So, and again, we want to put uh, a circle there. And like a marker, circle is also an object, a marker object. So you'll find it here. If you go to the guide for maps for JavaScript, and if you go to map objects, you will see there are geo shapes. So along with circles, you can add rectangles, polygons, polylines, and then customize them. We are going to add a circle, and as a normal circle, as you would draw in any application or even by hand, it needs a center and a radius. And here, with the circles in the geo shape format, you have the center as obviously a latitude and longitude, and then you have the radius in meters. So this is where the 10 kilometers would be 10,000 meters, and then you add the object to the circle. So let's start that. So as we said, we wanted to add the circle when the dragging ends with the last position. So we are going to add it within this drag end. Uh, yeah, we are going to add it in the drag end listener. And again, I'm just going to copy this. So you have the circle, and the position now is event dot target. If you remember, it was get geometry. That's it. And then I wanted the radius to be 10 kilometers. So I'm going to make it 10,000 meters. Yeah. So if you see, and then I added this map object, the circle, to the map itself. So now if you see this, I can obviously click and add markers, and then if I drag them and keep them, the moment I leave my mouse, I get a circle of a radius to 10 kilometers. And then again, the circle has normal default style. So we can quickly go on to day 15, which was customizing the circle itself, which was fill in the circle with like a color of your choice and give it a darker border with a width of 4 pixels. So I'm going to continue here itself. So what I want to basically do is customize my marker. And to customize that, I'm going to use the property called style. So I'm just going to add a variable called circle style. And within the circle style, I want, so as you can see, you can in the documentation for circle itself, if you just go further, you'll see that there's the style objects are here, and they're applicable to all the geo shapes. So I'm just going to copy this and customize it as I want. So okay, we have a few more brackets than we need. Okay, so we want the stroke color, the border, which is the stroke of the circle itself, to be a darker color. So I'm just going to choose a darker blue. I have the I have the RGB. This is just to show that you can also write solid color names like black, blue, green, yellow, but you can also give them in the format of RGB. And then I want the fill color. So the fill color is the one inside the circle. So you want that to be a lighter color. Again, this is to say that you can use this format as well. And I wanted the pixel with the line width to be 4 pixels. So I made this 4. I don't need these two style formats. Once I have the circle style, I want to add the circle style to the map. And so this is basically the object which says style, which is just called style. So I'm going to add this here, and style is circle style. So that's it. If I do this, I can see that my marker is here, my circle is here, and then my circle is of a different style altogether. That's it. That's day 11 through 15 of 100 Days of Code. Keep following us on Twitter at YourDev, and keep following the whole 100 Days of Code. And hopefully, in the end, you'll learn a lot more about maps and location technology with the help of Here Technologies APIs. Thank you.